Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. We're just opening up the doors now, and we'll kind of give a couple minutes for everybody to get on. Thank you for coming and joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to share all of this with you today. And if you'd like to just introduce yourself, say hi in the chat, and let us know where you're tuning in from, we'd love to hear. We got Boulder, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio. Cool. Hi, Lainey. Nathan from Boulder. Brad, great to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Sydney. We got Heather. Good to see you, Heather. Also in Denver. You're so welcome, Melissa. We're really happy to be able to be all here together and talking about how we can really support our community right now. So thank you for joining.
Right. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining today. We're just giving it one more minute to get the last people on. I got a couple of people messaging right now with links. Right, here we go. We got Catherine, Jane. Hello.
Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. ECU.
Aja's coming on right now. There we go. All right, well, let's get started. And we are recording today, so we will be able to share this with people afterwards in case they missed the first little bit. Danielle, I'll let you get started.
Great. So thank you guys all so much for being here. We're super happy that we were able to pull this together under such short notice because both Michael and myself have been receiving countless outreach requests for how we can really rise up as a community and support our students and our clients with this transition into a much more virtually dominant space. So this workshop, Empower Your Community with Virtual Offerings, is a way for us to really get that clarity about how we're committed to serving our community at this time and some powerful next steps for doing so. So, without further ado, we just really would like to start before diving into anything with really thanking you for being here and taking this time, because really these are challenging times and everybody has a lot going on their plate, but it's especially important as conscious leaders that we are coming together. We're really doing our part to contribute what we can to supporting others and offering our gifts and talents in a way that is helping our wider community and also taking good care of ourselves so that we are able to step back into the circle and give to our community once again. So that is really a courageous act, and it speaks to the kind of person that you are, that you would take the time to really show up today and learn how you can contribute in a bigger way. So Michael and I both would really like to thank you. And then just to get started, if you'd like, feel free to open up a notebook page or a little document on your computer, something to write with. And then as we begin, we just would love to take a brief moment to center ourselves, take a big full breath in, and exhale it out. And maybe one more of those, just a full brief breath in. And a grounding breath out. It's so important to remember to just take those moments to pause and breathe, especially when we're engaging with social media, any of that energy that is swirling around right now. It's really good to just remember we can connect with our breath and each other. So today in this workshop, what we'll be learning is first and foremost how you can stay centered as a conscious leader, how you can bring yourself back to your own core, your intentions, your purpose, and the way that you feel called to show up in this space right now. We'll also be learning the number one way that you can be of service to your community, and this is unique to each of you, and we'll be guiding you through that process of clarifying your most important next step. We'll also be uncovering how to translate your gifts in the virtual space. Many of us are really used to working more in physical studios, retreats, workshops, that type of thing. So we're going to talk to you today about how you can translate the impact of what you do live into the virtual space. And then how you to offer those services authentically so that you can feel aligned and confident to really put yourself out there with the value of what you have to share in a particularly sensitive time in our world. And lastly, what you need to get started on for sharing these gifts. So by the time you walk away today, you'll know exactly what you're here to share and how to do it and what's your most powerful next step. So before we dive in, Michael and I would love to introduce ourselves. If you have not met me yet or aren't familiar, my name is Danielle Butel. I am the founder of Soul Power Creative, and we're a digital agency for conscious brands and teachers. We are a team of expert digital creatives who also are really immersed in our spiritual paths, our own wellness and conscious journey. And because of that, we're really able to serve clients in the conscious space in how to create programs that really impact people in a way of healing and awakening, and particularly how to use marketing to communicate to these audiences that really have a different tone and needs and sensitivities that are different from what you might find in another agency. So that's Soul Power Creative, and I am the business coach and founder behind this agency. So today, that's what we're really sharing, is that those inside secrets of what I'm working with my clients on day to day right now, of how they can translate their offerings into virtual in a quick and powerful way.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
And I'm Michael Pottern. I'm the founder of Find My Zen. We are a digital platform, both a free app as well as website. Currently, we're aggregating about 7,000 wellness events in 12 different cities. We're really all about curating and connecting people to those unique offerings that each city has, and obviously all these awesome people like yourselves that are helping create different threads and themes that people can find wellness and their health and vitality through different paths. And so I'm really excited about what we're doing on that side. We actually have recently gotten into the corporate wellness space where we're actually working with our partners, the local teachers and facilitators, in creating opportunities for people that don't have any exposure to breath work or sound journeys or things like that. We are bringing that into organizations in the corporate space. We are actually about to launch a teacher directory, which will then again highlight these unique niches and modalities that so many of us are becoming masters with or already are. And really, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is create opportunities for connection, marketing, and more touch points for teachers, facilitators, small businesses. And we're really looking out for those collaborative opportunities in ways. So feel free to reach out afterwards if you're looking to expand your network and or what you're up to.
Thank you, Michael. So where we would love to begin today is about really anchoring into our intentions. So I know that I can speak for myself and Michael that our core intention with offering this workshop today, offering our virtual offering, is that we want to empower you to be able to empower your community. We are seeing so much fear and confusion and uncertainty circling around in our world right now. And we know that as conscious leaders, each of you are totally capable of reconnecting with your core intention, reconnecting with your beautiful leadership skills and healing capacities to reach out to a world in need. So that's really our intention. But we wanted to connect with you. And before we even think about what you want to create or how, just pause and take a moment and really feel into what is your intention for being in your line of work at all. Why did you come to studying and sharing and leading your clients and your students and community in the modalities that you've become passionate about sharing? Because that's what this is really about. Now is the moment when the why behind your work is especially important to stay connected to. So in this moment, just feel free to either close your eyes or journal and tap into the feeling. It could be a word or a vision or just a vibration in your own body of why you came to offering the tools and the ideas that you share, and what kind of presence and impact you really want to have in the world. Just taking a moment to breathe into that. And this is a place that you can return to as your center point when you start to feel uncertain or questioning or not sure what's the next step to take. Just come back to this alignment of your own intention of why you share your life's work in the first place. Is it because you want to be of service? Do you want to facilitate healing? Do you want to bring community together? Do you want to support the awakening of our society? Do you want to fill people up with experiences that support their self-care? All of these intentions are even more valid now than maybe before. This is the time in life when we really need to rise to the occasion and offer what we have to share. And being in alignment with that original intention of yours will really allow your audiences to feel that authenticity from you. So feel free to jot down a couple notes or ideas, or just seal in that feeling into your heart. I know that this is where we can always begin every single day when we're wondering, how can I show up and serve? So now that you're a little more clear about your core intention for why you want to make virtual offerings, we can move into looking at the core of this workshop, which is really identifying what is your key empowerment tool. What is the number one thing that you can offer to your community at this time? Many of us are really multi-talented and we have a lot of different gifts and talents to share. But this is a time when clarity and simplicity is really helpful. People are looking for something that they can just easily tap into when all of these different changes and adjustments are happening. And we are very confident that each and every one of you have a core tool that you will really be able to offer your community in a clear and direct way. So this is what we would love to invite you to do. Bring out your notebook or your document and walk through this process. Number one, what is the number one tool that you really feel people can use to best cope with the challenges of today's climate? It might be meditation or yoga or journaling or an intuitive process. There's countless tools that we can offer, and it's going to be unique to you. But getting really clear on what's the first thing that comes to mind, that's a very clear and direct answer in yourself of what's that number one thing you want to offer to your community at this time. And then feel into what is your connection with this tool. So when you sense, why is this of value to share with your community? It's most likely because you have a really strong personal connection to this tool or this practice as well. And it's just as important for you to be nourished by this practice and to really understand what your connection to the tool is and why it's been helpful for you during challenging times. And then once you've really identified what your personal connection to this tool is, how can you communicate a very clear and direct description of the benefits of utilizing this tool? What are circumstances? What is an opportunity that may come up in your community's day-to-day life right now where it would be valuable for them to tap into and implement this tool for themselves? For you to have this very clear, you'll really be able to communicate with your community why this tool is really going to be a supportive touch-in for them to clear their anxiety, get back to themselves, stay active, nourish themselves. What are the intentions? Coming back to your intentions behind why you're offering this work, how does that translate into your empowerment tool that you'll be offering your community? And I'd love to just see a few ideas in the chat box if you could drop your empowerment tool of what you guys feel like you'd be called to share with your community, or if you have any questions. So for example, one of my empowerment tools that I connect with every day is just simple grounding breath meditation. And this is something that I do between meetings, when I get up in the morning, before I eat. It's a very simple tool that can be implemented in many different days, but that's a part of how I've learned to weave conscious practice into daily work life. So that's something that I am teaching many of my clients at this time, is how they can get that grounding breath. So I'd love to see some ideas from you guys of what's popping up for you, of what could be a tool you'd like to share with your community. And you might need to sit with this and feel into it and do some journaling after this workshop. And we'll have time for questions at the end as well. So that's our first step, is really identifying our empowerment tool, just one super clear and direct practice that we can share. And now we'd really love to introduce one of our beautiful community members, Aja Rose, who is the founder of Inner Light Revival Breathwork. And she's going to share her core tool and how that is utilized to empower her community during this time. And she's joining us on video. Hi, Aja. I can't hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Aja. Thank you for tuning in. Danny and Michael, thank you for organizing this. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes here sharing one of my, honestly, my all-time favorite simple daily breath practice. And breath work is my number one empowerment tool, so I love sharing it. And the one I'm going to be sharing is especially powerful for anyone dealing with anxiety, headaches, digestive issues, and sleep issues. And some of the benefits of it is that it is directly stimulating the vagus nerve. And so that's going to really slow the heart rate down. It is what is a big part of what is controlling our breathing. And it's also going to essentially activate the rest and digest part of our nervous system. So it's also going to turn on our digestion. And it's something that you can do anywhere at any time without anyone even realizing you're doing it. And it's using a technique called coherent breathing. And so they have found to be one of the most balancing breaths to the nervous system. And what it's also doing is helping to repattern any inhibited breathing patterns. So it can help to release those and bring you back to a more optimal way of breathing. And so since this is more of a facilitator group here, I always like to start with addressing what problem I'm helping to solve, and then also addressing the outcomes that people can expect to get out of it. So those were a couple of the outcomes. And personally, how I came across this technique was through one of my dearest mentors in Boulder, actually, Norman Allard. And he came across this technique actually by accident. He's a longtime breath worker and incredible body worker teacher. And back in the early 90s, he was getting on a flight to Hawaii and almost didn't go because his anxiety was so bad. And he stuck his thumb right on this spot where where I'll show you where the main spot for this technique that you're stimulating the vagus nerve, and just held it there and did this slow diaphragmatic breathing and was able to completely calm down his anxiety and eventually healed his insomnia from it. And he's been teaching it ever since as his kind of number one go-to technique. So it's my go-to, and it's so simple that you can do it in just 5 to 10 minutes. And I recommend people to try it before they go to sleep, just because it is so effective at sleep. It honestly feels like a sleeping pill for me. And just 10 minutes, you can either use your thumb or you can use a bottle, which I'll show you in the video that we'll be sharing at the end here. I like to leave people by telling them a very specific action they can take with this. So I feel like people kind of like to be told what to do in circumstances like this. So I like to offer for this, try it for 5 minutes right before you go to bed, and you can watch the video if you want to learn more about how to do it and more of the science behind it.
Thank you so much, Aja. We're so thankful that you were on. And you guys, we have so much to learn from her example. Really, what you just heard in Aja sharing her empowerment tool is that she has one very clear tool that is her go-to to offer during a challenging time like this. She has very clear instructions that can be offered easily to a community online of how to engage with this tool, and very clear benefits of why this is valuable, especially at this time. So this is a great practice for you guys to mirror, is those 3 things that you can quickly and clearly communicate to your audience. Thank you so much, Aja. So now that we have really uncovered or begun the process of uncovering what is your number one empowerment tool, we'd like to support you in understanding how can we translate connection and value virtually. Because like we mentioned earlier, many of us are really used to connecting face-to-face, live experiences, events, workshops, classes, and retreats. And because we're in a time when those physical spaces aren't accessible to us, we really, as conscious leaders, want to be able to translate the potency of that human connection and the value of our tools and offerings through the virtual channels. And that's really where mine and Michael's expertise can come in to support you, because we have been working with digital channels for decades and really allowing our clients to understand how to translate their experiences online. So that's what we're here to share today. And one place to start is to recognize that technology is your ally in this. Sometimes we can have this mindset that technology is separating us, social media is a distractor, all of these things. But if you can befriend technology and utilize the resources that the online space has to offer you right now, you'll be able to be more creative and uncover opportunities to foster that deeper connection that you might not have noticed otherwise. So being open to technology actually supporting and facilitating connection is the first place to start. And then when you move on from there, then there's just a myriad of different platforms and places that you can share. And especially when there's so many different ideas and distractors going on out in the space, picking your platforms and knowing where you're going to primarily share your messaging and your offerings is really important. You don't want to fracture the potency of your efforts. So just getting clear, simplifying, making sure that you know where you're communicating and where you're hosting your information. Next step is really using your voice. So that means being heard and visible and out there, posting on your social media, sharing what's going on in your own process and in your work, making sure that you're really piping up during this time is really important, because there's just so many different messages out there. So for you to really break through all that noise and make an impact so that you can translate that value virtually, you need to be vocal about the benefits, the significance of what you're sharing, where your intention is, where your heart's coming from, and just really using your voice to get yourself out there. Then what we'd like to share is that fostering community engagement is super important. I've been seeing people starting new Facebook groups to support with social distancing. People are creating WhatsApp threads with their circle to stay connected. You can have like check-in phone calls with your clients' community or your allies. There's so many ways to foster community engagement, but just really coming from that place of how can I have that touch point? How can I stay engaged with people when we're increasingly set up to feel disconnected from one another? So it takes even more effort these days to really lean in and engage our community so that they feel like you're there for them. You are somebody that they can count on, and you're somebody that's bringing people together. And part of doing that is establishing connection points. So being able to communicate, this is where you can find me, this is when you can reach out, I'm going to follow up with you at this point, checking in with them on their progress and how they're feeling, and actually creating those opportunities built into how you're offering your classes or workshops or sessions online. And lastly, really just being present. This is something that is changing our world more and more every single day. So for us to be present and recognizing that our community are all going to respond differently to the unique challenges that are happening, and what people feel, want, and need last week is totally different from what they feel, want, and need this week. So for us to really be emotionally present by checking in and asking people how they're feeling, asking people what's most helpful to them right now, and being willing to be responsive and make those shifts with the tools that you have available to you. So many of the same practices that you're already comfortable with live emotional connection can be translated virtually. It's just a matter of knowing where you're making those connections and doing them a little more frequently than you would think that you would otherwise, because it's just so easy to fall out of touch and get lost in our own stuff. So you can break through those patterns with your clients and your community by checking in with them, even if it's just a Facebook message or an email or a phone call. So as you're feeling into how to translate your value and your offers online, something that comes up for a lot of conscious teachers and healers is this question that I've been hearing all week, which is like, is this the right time to really be sharing these things? Are people even interested in this? Aren't they feeling overwhelmed with enough already? And what I have to say to that is, now is the time to be present and available to your community. We have the tools and the resources and the mindset and perspective that our clients and our community really need right now. So yes, actually, this is the moment to be present. This is the moment to be heard and available. And it's not about being salesy and pushing yourself. I know that your heart is in the right place on this. I know that you are coming from an intention of really wanting to be of benefit, wanting to serve and support your community. So you can translate that in the way that you're marketing and sharing your virtual offerings. And a few rules of thumb to really assure that that is conveyed when you're offering these programs online, first of all, is just empathizing with your audience. Before you write your posts, before you write your emails, or do any outreach, just start by really empathizing with your audience. Like, feel into how they're feeling right now. What's going on for them? What does their day-to-day life look like? How do they want to be supported? What are their deeper needs? When you can really connect from your heart to theirs about what's going on for them, you're going to be able to communicate much more effectively and reach them in the way that they need. That will immediately cut out any of your worries about marketing not being sensitive at this moment, is just through that human empathy. The second point that I would recommend is practicing the generosity model. So this means that people are just feeling a lot of fear right now. They're not sure who they can trust. There's a lot of change going on. And if you can be generous with your offerings, be present, put some free tools out there to support your community, maybe offer some scholarship programs for people who might have their income impacted by this outbreak, all of that, that's a really great place to start, because then you're staying true to your intent of being of service during this time. It doesn't mean that everything's a free-for-all, but you can be generous and supportive, and that will really continue to instill that sense of trust and connection that your audience has with you, even when they're feeling uncertain about the climate of things. And then lastly, it's super simple, you guys. Just speak your intention. Be completely transparent and honest about how you're really feeling. I know that your intention is to be supportive and of benefit, and you can be open about that. You can be open about how this is challenging for you too, and how this tool has really been a pillar and an anchor for you in your own life. And you can express your purpose on this planet at this time, and why it's even more important to you to be available and connecting your community. So when you can really connect with your own intention and speak from that place, that authenticity will resonate with those who are reading or listening to or engaging with any of your offerings or content that you have to share. So I really do want to express that confidence to you that it is totally possible for us to continue being in business and offering our services and providing value for our community. It's just a shift in tone from how we might be marketing our services in a different time by being sensitive to what we're going through as a collective today. I wanted to share an example from a client that I've been working with that is just doing a phenomenal job of this. Her name is Karuna Schwartz, and she's the founder of Mind Oasis, which is a live stream virtual meditation community. So they use live stream platforms like Zoom and to bring on their community to meditate together all over the world online. And they recognized that this was a unique opportunity to really step up as a nonprofit, as community leaders, and share the value of what they do at Mind Oasis to a wider community. So what they decided to do was to offer their community meditation programming, which is dozens of live stream meditation sessions a week. They're offering it for free for 3 months as a gift to the community, as a way to support people really getting on their cushions and meditating consistently, and fostering that community connection that many of us have felt we've lost by the closure of these physical spaces. So their community meditation is really their starter offering at Mind Oasis, and they still have paid classes and private sessions and coaching and plenty of ways for them to be supported as an organization financially, but they're also employing that generosity model so that they really can step up, be a service, make meditation accessible, knowing that that's their empowerment tool. So they're a great example of somebody who's responded quickly in a way to really share and spread their empowerment tool while also resourcing their own business. So now that we've really gotten that clarity about what is our empowerment tool, how we can share this effectively in a virtual space, and what are the ways that we can market our offerings authentically, we can look at our activation steps. So number one is creating your tool. So that's actually creating your content, recording it, setting up your live stream, whatever you need to do to get that asset created, start there. Then pick your platforms and start sharing your tool, spreading it out to your community, and getting that voice out there so that people are aware in your community that you have consciously responded to the situation. And this is where you can really leverage those benefits that you've uncovered about what your tool is and why it's valuable at this time. And then lastly, this is really an opportunity to get creative with collaboration to really foster that community connection that we need so much right now. So thinking about who out there in your community is really in alignment and complementary to what you have to share. Just like this webinar right now is an example of collaboration of my expertise in the virtual and digital programming and marketing space, and Michael's expertise in virtual community connection. Think about who are somebody in your world that might be a good partner to get together with a similar cause. And lastly, really engaging your community. So that's letting the people in your circle know, hey, I've created this tool. I really think it's going to be of benefit. If you could share this as well, I think that it will really support a lot of people, and I want to get it out there. Michael, would you like to share more on this front?
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Very excited about, I think, the opportunity that actually is in front of us to really redefine some of the practices and ways we go about our own businesses. We actually were about to launch a in-person pop-up studio called Zen Den down in Denver, which was slated to start this week. We had about 35 different experiences booked, and Though we had to shut that down, or at least put that on pause for the time being, we are really, I guess, getting curious about how that collaboration can really look and how that can actually provide even more trust in the end user or the consumer saying, ooh, this is something that I will actually not only just download or get the information, but I will actually start doing, especially when there's multiple people that they already have some touch point with and some trust with, that can really go much deeper, as well as provide even more of a 360 wellness component where they can see the power of breath work and then also of sleep, and really combining those support factors, I think, can be really beneficial. As well as, I think the marketing opportunities is really different right now, because really what we're promoting is ease and connection during this time of chaos and isolation. So the more that we can actually build these tools out in ways that we do have some sort of connection exercise, if we are doing digital, remember that we're keeping community together through this. So the more people that we can have as presenters and as hosts of that creates connection in that, I think, representation, as well as the way that people are actually then hopefully going to stay connected through the online channels, and also just having these tools that they can go deeper within themselves. We're actually going to also be creating a calendar system on FMZ that will have all virtual classes and online opportunities for people to explore. So if you are somebody that is going to be producing these things and offering that out to your community, feel free to reach out directly. You can also just add the Zen Den online as an organizer, and then that will automatically get synced into our calendar system and then promoted in some different ways. But I think, as Danielle kind of mentioned, this is just really a time to use as a creation time, and we're able to support our community, and we're also able to refine our own messaging. We're able to find new opportunities through this. So I'm really hoping that this is an empowerment conversation. We actually will put this up right now, a little survey just to see if there is anything that you guys do need. We're available to follow up with you directly and see how we can support that. And let me just do that here. I think this should work. So yeah, so this is just a little, if you want to mark what you could use a little extra help with, this is a way that we can at least kind of segment it a little bit more and follow up afterwards and have a little bit more of a direct conversation. We will also have Aja Rose is going to be giving us the tool that she just described earlier. So you will actually have an example of that, which I think will be also quite meaningful for everybody to see what that means to both identify your tool, show how that tool has been impactful in your own life, as well as how that can be of benefit to your community. I think that's pretty much it on my end.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, we're just so passionate about supporting each of you as conscious leaders and really feeling like you have everything that you need to really step up to this occasion, to be resourced for yourself, to continue offering all of the wisdom and beauty and value that you have to share in this world, still sustaining through this particularly pivotal moment in our time as a community. So that's really where our hearts are in the way that we want to support you. And like Michael said, Find My Zen is an incredible resource for this. He has been bringing people together in conscious community, physically and virtually, all across the country. And us at Soul Power, we can really be that engine for you to have clarity about what is your strategy and your next step for how to meet the quickly changing landscape, and really shore up your virtual strategies so that you have solid programs that offer clear benefits and that you really do know how to market them and get yourself out there when everybody is creating a virtual version of their tools right now. So I really would love to be a resource for you, as much as I know Michael would as well, in getting that coaching or marketing strategy or a clear programming together so that you can step forward and really offer the gifts that you have that are so needed in this world right now. So we're really thankful that each of you took the time to be here and to learn and to begin your process of identifying what is your next step to offering that support to your community. It's really inspiring to see how many of you are invested in being that pillar of presence and comfort and encouragement and support for your community. So thank you so much for being here. And we will be following up with the recording of this webinar, as well as some opportunities for us to stay in touch and continuing to support you as we navigate this forward together.
And I think that's pretty much it right now. I see a couple last people just typing in the chat box, so we'll just kind of let that finish up that way. And as I said, we will have a tool as well as some follow-up content that we'll be sending out shortly. And if this video was of use, we will also be publishing this video from today. If there's anybody that you feel called to share this with, that would be great, because really at this point, I think the more that we can empower people, teachers and facilitators specifically, to rise up, I think by, just example, this is going to be quite a meaningful time for us to stay grounded and focused and clear so that everybody else can do the same. So thank you, everybody, and we'll be in touch.
Have a beautiful day, everybody. Stay safe and talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.